The African People's Convention will today lead a march to the union buildings in Pretoria, and that's against the privatization of Eskom. The party is also calling for Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan to step down. They say Eskom is on the brink of collapse, and Gordhan should take responsibility for the ongoing load shedding and financial crisis at the utility. For more on this, let's bring in Mandla Mokoena, who's the party's Treasurer General. He joins us via our video link this morning. Mandla, it's great to see you. Thank you so much indeed for making time. I mean, let's begin with just, I guess, what some people consider to be a far-gone conclusion. This idea that Eskom is in fact on its way to privatization. If you do believe that, tell us why.
Good morning, Ayanda, and good morning, viewers at home. Yes, we have been seeing the signs that, when they talk about Eskom and bunching of Eskom business units, such as transmission, generation, and distribution. To us, that's purely privatization of Eskom. So as APC, we took a conscious decision during our Congress that we are going to oppose any form of privatization of Eskom because Eskom is an essential service to the country.
Yesterday we heard the finance minister, if not yesterday, perhaps the day before, speaking about SAA being a drain to the fiscus, so to speak. You know, this idea that so much money had been pumped into it, that it actually is no longer in the interest of the state to keep that SOE as essentially asset of the state. Similar sentiments could be shared about Eskom. What would be your response to that?
No, you see, Eskom is a different case altogether. Because as I said, Eskom is an essential service. How do you grow economy without a good uninterrupted power supply? How do you have the industries, mines, and agricultural sector to function properly without a proper supply of electricity? So in that case, we are saying Eskom is an essential service. It cannot be privatized. It should be under the state. So in that way, because remember, privatization means more money that's going to be paid by, the charges are going to increase. Our people are going to pay more money that they don't even have. So there will be continuous interruption of those type of services. Only people who can be able to afford can have access to that service. So we are saying it's an essential service. It cannot be privatized, and it cannot be compared to SAA. It's a different case altogether because it's a more critical service that we cannot interrupt it at all.
Yeah.
Like you can see now, I mean, we've been seeing this load shedding, very unreliable power supply, unaffordable in that case. So if we privatize, put it in the private hands, we're going to make it more worse and more tariffs are going to be charged to our people at the end of the day.
What you're pointing out is one side of the privatization story. Other people point out the fact that when there's increased players in the market, that leads to more competition, and that, ironically, may have a positive impact for the end user. That's you and me as ordinary consumers. So I guess, essentially I'm ventilating these issues with the hopes of trying to get to the bottom of what you're hoping will come out of your march later on today.
Yes. Sorry, can you repeat that?
I was saying that these issues I'm ventilating with the objective of getting to the bottom of what you're actually hoping will come out of your march from later today.
Yes, what we're hoping that to come from the march is that we call on all Africans to stand up and defend the saving of Azania. Because if you sell Eskom, it's the same as we have sold the country to a private sector. We have sold the country to foreign interests. So we are saying, we are calling all people to come and defend this. Because, that's a sign, selling Eskom is essentially selling the whole country. So we're going to have a country that's going to be not functional because of this type of privatization that is planned.
You're also calling for Pravin Gordhan to step down. Other people will point out that it's not just one man who's at the helm of these issues or who's caused these issues, so to speak. How will replacing that individual help solve Eskom's problems?
The minister must take a serious political decision and make sure that they stand for the good benefit of the citizen of the country. From now, I mean, we are saying, it should be a step aside so that, we get a person that's capable of running that department. Because the Department of Public Enterprise, it has SOEs, it has very serious strategic enterprises that are running the country. So he failed to provide that political leadership. So we feel is the person that must go first, and followed by the board members of Eskom as well as the management of Eskom, because they are failing the country at all costs.
Yeah. Whilst you're asking for Eskom not to be privatized, I'm sure there's also much to be said about how it's being handled in the hands of government over the past couple of years, perhaps even over the past decade. how do we have both conversations? Because it probably goes without saying that the status quo in its current form is also unsustainable.
Yes, that's exactly the reason that I was saying the board must go and also the manager must go. So it's for that reason exactly that they fail to manage Eskom properly. They fail to manage Eskom. If you can see, there's serious interruptions in terms of electricity supply. It goes without even being any notice. You say there's power off. So that interruption, is caused by poor management at Eskom.
Okay, we've had several board members over the years as well. That didn't seem to solve the problem at all.
Yes, of course, but if you appoint board members in a political appointed board members, then you'll have this type of problems because those people are going to be driven by their political masters who are going to tell them what to do and what not to do. And hence, now they're driving towards privatization. What are the beneficiaries of this privatization? It's the minority interest and also foreign interest. Foreigners, the foreign firms that are looking and eyeing Eskom to buy it. So we are saying it's not for sale. It's not. We can't allow Eskom to be auctioned because auctioning Eskom is simply mean that we have to auction the country. That's why we are saying those who are appointed in the board, if they come through political channels, then we have a problem.
Okay, but this idea that there are foreign interests who are eyeing Eskom, what are you basing that on?
I'm basing on that when they open this for sale, who's going to bid first are going to be foreign interests. Who's building these renewable energy plants now? Most of them are foreign-owned companies. So it goes without saying that even in the case of Eskom, it's going to happen the same way.
Okay, well, thanks for your take. I appreciate your time on the AM report this morning. I imagine there are many other people who will weigh in on not only your view, but also, your planned march later today. That there is Mandla Mokoena, who is the African People's Convention's Treasurer General. They're planning a march through the union buildings today against what they believe is the planned privatization of Eskom. Mandla, once again, thanks very much indeed for your time.